Thanks for tuning in to Rambler. Warning. This video contains super awesome content not suitable for people who don't enjoy super awesomeness. Viewer discretion advised. The wrestling podcast that sets all other podcasts apart. Covering news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and more. Your favorite weekly episodic podcast, Ramblers Unleashed, starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ramblers Unleashed, your weekly episodic podcast for news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and sometimes more. Let me start by apologizing. I meant to give everyone a heads up that we were going to take last week off for a personal situation. However, I forgot. I feel bad for that, so I would like to apologize. I would also like to say that it wasn't my fault and it wasn't the Baron's fault, and leave it at that. All right. Up first, the man who is higher than a jet airliner and whose signature catchphrase is and always will be
420.
Round of applause for the Baron, everybody.
Got to get that round of applause in, goddammit.
Yeah, Styles, that includes you.
How's
it going, Baron?
Dude, we're here. It always feels like a month or two when we take a week off, and that's what it's felt like. Haven't seen you two in a while. We got to quit taking weeks off.
Unfortunately.
But next week, we have to discuss it, fellas. That's a busy week. That's holiday week, We might go live from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Christmas Day. For all those fans out there. Totally kidding.
I mean, do you think you can handle 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.? I mean, there'd be a whole lot of content to talk about. We run out of it. Don't give Max ideas because he probably would.
I mean, we make it at the 3-hour mark, no problem already. And let me tell you, there's been quite a few discussions over the years that, I think the ECW podcasts alone were 16 hours. So, yeah, 8 hours is not much.
Listen, you're trying to say that we would run out of content, but I believe that was something we've learned around here is that we like to ramble. I think we could fill 8 hours on Christmas Day.
Yeah, but we're not going to. All right, let's just scrap it there.
All right. Up next, the man who destroys kayfabe, the man who does video game streams, and sometimes forgets to unmute his mic. He is the Rambler Complaint Department, CM Styles. Round of applause.
My microphone on. Hey guys, it's great to be back. Yes, we took that week off last week, and for personal reasons, it's great to be here this week. I can't wait to talk about what we're going to, and it's going to be full of fun and full of emotions. So look forward to it.
All right. Up next, the other member of the Ramblers crew. For without you, we'd be a bunch of idiots talking to each other on a video. And listen, let me be honest with you. I love the Baron. Okay. Dizzy is my bestie. But if I had to sit here for hours without you guys just talking on video with this man over here, I'd lose my damn mind, just so we're all on the same page. But the point is, give it up for yourselves over there in the chat. You are the other Rambler.
And of course, let's not forget the man in charge here. Yes, I'm talking about you, this guy right over here. Let me tell you, one of the greatest bookers of all time. He is the maniac on the mic. He is Chicago Max, Mr. Max Magus, y'all. Let's give it up for him tonight.
You know what? I've got a serious question for everybody. How the hell did I end up being the man in charge?
You're calling the shots here.
No, that's my other podcast, Random Shots. Never mind. All right, guys, we're going to open with some breaking news. And new North American Women's Champion, Dia Hale. I was told right before getting on that it looked like this might have been a botched ending, though. Baron, you saw it, right?
Well, of course. Because we all watch NXT on Tuesday, correct? That's why we go live at 9:30 every Tuesday. So we're watching NXT, correct, fellas?
I was busy typing up the show. I didn't have NXT on here.
What's NXT?
Oh, fellas, we gotta have to switch the time. No. Yeah, I mean, I sent over the clip. If you guys haven't watched it yet, give it a quick second to watch. I mean, just all you need is watch the first 10 seconds and you can realize what happened. But this is clear as day botch work from the referee. Monroe got her arm up for sure. So the ref was counting too fast at 1, 2, 3. Max, I need your professional opinion on this because, like, I know it was a botch, and I think the social media is buzzing that it was a botch because this was, you could tell by the look on their faces, this was not supposed to happen. Which this is something we have not seen in WWE when it comes to a title change. And I mean, I couldn't tell you last time that happened. But yeah, to me, this was a serious botch for sure.
Well, I heard that they also played Blake's music and then stopped and started Thea's.
Did they? Fuck, I don't remember if they did that. But I mean, it's just clear as day. The referee went over to the side 2 as a 2 count, but realized he went 1, 2, 3, so he had to ring the bell.
Well, and I just watched the beginning, and it looks like he gets that 3 down right before she gets her arm up. So I don't know if it's on the ref. I think it may actually be on Blake for not getting her arm up fast enough.
Well, it looked like she had it extended for a period of time anyway, so where it was just maybe a 2 count to begin with, not even close to 2.5. But yeah, no, it's serious title change. I don't think that was supposed to happen. I think we're going to see a pivot very fast. But nonetheless, good for her. You know, those things are somewhat exciting, if you ask me, when that shit happens in wrestling. But yeah, that was for real something crazy.
Styles, how bad do you think they're going to get yelled at when they get backstage?
Oh, I can guarantee you either they're going to get their asses chewed out or they're going to say, yo, what the hell just happened? Now, with things like this, when, like you say, if it's a serious or a major botch, now within the next week or 2, they're going to have to find a way to correct that, do a rematch clause, and eventually become a transitional championship once again. But, I mean, you know, just like Courtney said, you know, Thea Hale, congrats. You know, it's...
Look, I don't dislike Thea Hale. I want good things for Thea Hale. I think she's entertaining, in my opinion. Do I think that the WWE actually wanted to put a title on her?
Hopefully soon, but now they kind of got it, and now they got to run the ball for a little bit. And
yeah, see what
sadly,
happens.
they're gonna have to. They'll have to switch the title over next show.
All right, fellas. I think we know why we're here tonight. And while we are discussing breaking news about NXT, we know that's not why we're here tonight. So, allow me to kick this off. That's right. I only do it on purpose. All right. Who in the hell are you? I'm John Cena. John Cena, huh? Well, what is the one quality that you possess that makes you think you can walk out here and come into the ring and face the very best in the business? Ruthless aggression. And that's how it all began. We are coming to you live on the heels of the final match of the GOAT, John Cena. And let me tell you, the tribute afterwards was beautiful. So much love and respect for a man who dedicated the better part of the last 23 years of his life to this business. And I think it's very telling that we actually got a full farewell after the match for Cena when the last guy that retired on Saturday Night's Main Event got cut off halfway through. Oh, sad day for him. Guys, 23 years, how do you compare?
You can't compare. I mean, Max. I know you love to call yourself this, right? You do, and you know what? We're going to give it to you on this show. But when we talked about wrestling, he's the GOAT, right?
And actually, to be fair, it was Sean that called me the GOAT first.
Because you paid him off, correct? We remember that day. But nonetheless, absolute GOAT. I mean, there's not much we could say about him, that hasn't already been said. There's so many accomplishments inside, outside of wrestling. And that to me is when you classify someone the GOAT, it's not just wrestling, it's what you do outside of wrestling, because I think that's where it really truly hits your body of work, right? And we're not talking the movies, we're talking about everything else. And I think he's just generally an overall great guy. But I mean, what he did for wrestling, like, this is the first time that I think for the vast majority of us here can really say someone after, I mean, there's just a handful of them, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, that we could say after 20 years of work retired in front of us, right? I mean, at that magnitude, plenty of wrestlers that retired, but like at that magnitude, we're talking like the Ric Flair, the Undertaker. That's a small list.
Does it count as a retirement if you immediately go to work for TNA and then end up in AEW after they beautiful?
No, I don't think it does. I really don't, and that's why Ric Flair's retirement was staying to me, because what he did. So I totally agree with that. It does not feel like it. That was his proper send off from Shawn Michaels, but went and fucked it all up with whatever he did in TNA. I hope that's not the case with John Cena. If we've seen him walking around, we could definitely say it's not the case, because you could tell he's hurt big time. I mean, we could talk for literally 8 hours about what he did. I think we'll get to the conversational piece about his actual retirement match. And I really wouldn't mind touching base on all the critics out there of what happened that night.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because the good news is you actually do get to talk about one of the critics later tonight in Baron's Buzzkill.
Give it to me. I love it. Everything's fantastic. Great wrestler. It's going to be, WWE's got to step it up.
I agree.
John Cena, I think Roman Reigns could have been the possibly number 2 to take over. We're starting to see him fizzle out in a sense, right? Way too fast, and he's got a lot of health issues as well. So it's really on WWE to find a big star that can fill that void. I know people say Cody Rhodes, but I mean, that's a wrestling plant and manufactured baby face that that it's cringy at this point that it's not. But anyways,
I mean, like I like Cody Rhodes, but I feel like the two are on different levels, in my opinion, despite the fact that Cody is still a full-time wrestler and Cena was only full-time for this last year and then was part-time for years before that. So
yeah, I mean, it's just hard to compare, though, because I mean, John Cena, to certain people, is considered the top 5 wrestler of all time, right? I think we could make an argument he's in that, if not top 3. But so it's going to be hard on WWE going forward on what they're going to do, who's going to be the star, who's going to fill that void, because John Cena was selling tickets for the past.
Oh, yeah. Shirts, tickets, I mean, you name it. And this year, over the course of this last year, Cena probably sold it all by having his name on it.
Oh, absolutely. Guaranteed.
And Styles, Barry made a really good point. He was where'd he go? Like,
I'm here.
Why does he keep disappearing on us?
You'll see in a minute.
And Styles, so Barry made a really good point. It's not just what you do in the ring. It's not just what you do in front of the camera. And there was something in that tribute that this kind of touches on what we're going to discuss, what you're going to discuss during Destroying Kayfabe. But I feel like it belongs here in this part of the conversation as well. The things that you do in and out of the ring. Triple H was talking that you've got this guy who's being pulled in 800 different directions at once. He's got so much on his plate, so much prep work to do for what's happening that day. And someone walks up and says, "There's a kid over here." And he drops everything and goes over and makes that one kid feel like it's like he's the whole world. He showed up at Bayley's seminar and helped these women that Bayley had brought into this seminar trying to get better at their craft. This is a guy that's done it all in and out of the ring, Styles.
Yeah. He absolutely has. I mean, one of the biggest things he's done outside of the ring, aside from his acting career, things like Make a Wish, and that's probably his biggest accomplishment. He's probably one of the only Make a Wish that has made well over 650 granted wishes, and yeah, I think for a guy that goes above and beyond, I think he's going to go down as the greatest of all time, not just inside the ring but outside the ring. He's no different than what we are on the outside. And when you talk about the business aspect of John Cena, you know who he is inside the ring. Everyone knows his character, his persona. Outside, he is as courteous and professional as possible. If there's a kid that wants to meet John Cena and they don't have much time left, 110% guaranteed that that kid is going to get to see him. And of course, everyone used to make all the jokes back in the day. This guy is the Grim Reaper, the Make-A-Wish, because he gets to see all the dying children. No, it's more than just that. John Cena has done so much to where, I would have loved to meet John Cena but I'm not a Make-A-Wish kid, but I'm a big fan. But
I mean, you could be a Make-A-Wish kid. We could submit your name.
I mean, can you? No. But you know what? I'll put it this way. I've seen John Cena quite a few times in his WWE career. Multiple times at Raw in DC when it was the Verizon Center, not the Capital One Center. As a matter of fact, at the Giants Center right here in Hershey, Pennsylvania, I would see him at live shows. I would see him at house shows. And, that right there is more than enough to say that, I didn't have to touch his hand or shake his hand or get 5 minutes of fame with him, just getting to shoot the shit with him. Just seeing the guy, seeing what he does, seeing how he performs. The guy's a powerhouse. He's a phenomenal person, Yeah, he might seem a little cringy to some folks the way he carries himself, but this guy, he built himself. He gave his own character. All it took was him to bring in a Vanilla Ice persona during his early stage of the career, and that's what kicked everything off. But who John Cena is, that's what defines him. And now that he's retired after 22, 23 plus years of being in the industry, he can finally rest. But you already know what's going to happen for the next 5 years with John Cena, so I'm sure you would like to talk about that.
You mean he's going to grant another 5,000 wishes in the next 5 years?
No, he signed a 5-year deal with the WWE as an ambassador.
Well, yeah. I mean, but technically, it wasn't an ambassador deal before, but technically he's been an ambassador for the last, 10, 15 years?
Yeah, but now that he's not an active member of the roster, well, now that you say the 5,000 Make-A-Wishes, hey, I'll be 5,001. So
there you go. All right. After debuting in June of 2002, he went on to become a 17-time world champion. And according to the WWE, that's the most ever. 5-time United States champion, a 1-time Intercontinental champion, a 4-time tag team champion, which is how he finally became the Intercontinental title is what finally made him a Grand Slam champion, a 2-time Royal Rumble winner, had 726 televised matches, 100 PLE victories, and as we're going to talk about here in just a moment in our next segment, he still found time to have a record-setting 650 wishes granted. It's the most of all time. It's legitimately a Guinness Book of World Records number for Make-A-Wish. And I haven't looked up who number 2 is and how many wishes they've granted, but I can tell you there's a big deficit between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Justin Bieber is widely cited as the celebrity in second place, having granted over 250 wishes. And I'm reading exactly what's on the screen. Don't judge me. With NASCAR's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and others like Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Hulk Hogan also granting hundreds of wishes, making them strong contenders for the top spots after Cena. I did not call him Dwayne The Rock Johnson NASCAR's Dwayne The Rock Johnson. The Google result did. I just read it how it put it up on my screen.
What is Google smoking tonight?
I don't know, but it's been a really... Did I send you guys that screenshot of who was involved in the 6-man tag at Madison Square Garden before that episode of Raw aired a couple weeks ago? Apparently, let's see. I think I did. Let me see if I can.
I think I remember. Yeah, I think I remember this. Yeah,
it was hilarious. I was looking at that going, I don't think that's possible. Apparently, Google thought it was going to be Judgment Day, as it was, facing John Cena and his tag team partners. I think it was Batista and Bray Wyatt. I know it was Bray Wyatt that Google thought was his partner. So
sounds like a hell of a tag, 6-man.
All right. Do we have to perform a seance?
Yeah,
I think 6-man tag?
I think so. I think so. I mean, we talk about how many wishes have been granted. Let's make sure we point out the fact that anybody at that magnitude that's doing that, whether it's Justin Bieber or the NASCAR driver, The Rock, or John Cena, I mean, like that, those are holy fucking things that, it's just, I can only imagine what that does for a person that is going through anything like that. So kudos to all those people, because I mean, really technically speaking, they don't fucking have to,
Right.
They don't. So kudos to them.
Do you guys think anybody will ever beat John Cena's record as long as he's still granting wishes?
You said the next closest was like in the 200s. Is that what you were saying?
That was just Justin Bieber.
Yeah, apparently Bieber's granted over 250 wishes.
I mean, if you technically talk about age and longevity, yeah, Justin Bieber could, right? I mean, but
I'll be honest,
that's a hard number.
If you've seen Justin Bieber lately, I mean, he'll be lucky if he gets like 10 per year.
I mean, the man's got billions of followers. I'm sure there's thousands of kids that would love to see him. But I mean, nonetheless, whoever is granting wishes, that's a hard number. 600. I don't even know how the fuck you visibly do that.
All right, Styles, throw it up. I just sent it to the group chat.
Alrighty.
Now, I ask you, and by ask you, I mean you guys over here in the chat, are you requesting this guy for wishes?
Let's get this up here. There we go. I mean, it's more than just money. It's basically talent. But lately, he's been doing the Twitch thing, and I guess he's crashing out a whole lot these days to where he can't handle being heckled. So it kind of it hurts the reputation a bit. If he cares about doing it, good for him. But if he's not committed like he used to be. Now, if you compare this version of him versus, say, maybe 10, 15 years ago, or let's go back 20 when he was in his mid-teens, when he was starting out his career, where he was the cocky little teen, he thought he was better than everybody. I mean, we're in a generational shift. So it's all in a matter of, is it going to be kids that want to see him, or is it going to be adults that are going to wish they were Make-A-Wish kids?
I got you covered there, Styles.
Oh boy, I can't wait to see this. And just like that. All right, let me get this. Let me get this here.
Hey, I literally got you exactly what you said.
See, this is the Justin Bieber everyone liked. Now, like I said, he was young, he was cocky, but he was also confident.
All right. Let me stop you old farts over here real quick talking about this. Just let me pause it right here. This man's got over 1 billion followers, Instagram, fucking Twitter, whatever the case may be. No shade goes to Justin Bieber right now. I mean, he puts out fucking great music. And if you haven't listened to it, you might want to, because, I mean, yeah.
Oh, I'm never going to take it.
We can't be dogging this man at all.
I got nothing against the guy. That's the problem. I just feel so the problem I have is that, okay, so like I said, if you don't watch some of his content he puts on the internet, now if you've been paying attention to, let's say, the last 6-7 months where people were coming up to him during the whole Diddy thing, which I don't like talking about because I don't care about the whole thing, but apparently he was a part of that, and due to that he's got a lot of post-traumatic stress, so now he's dealing with the skeletons in the closet effect. And on top of that, his fortune, his fame, the dude's made billions of dollars. And let's just highlight this real quick. And so
but see, Max, that's the point. You've heard of some, you haven't heard of all.
I've heard,
right?
I've heard
name one Justin Bieber song in the last 5 years.
No,
because you can't, right? Because you haven't listened to it.
No,
I've listened to stuff from like 10 years ago and beyond.
Oh, he's put out a couple bangers in the last few years, but nonetheless, like
I know. I mean,
it's the point we're trying to make here is like make a wish, and we're kind of discrediting him. What he's
I won't discredit his.
I
don't know. Come on, it's sounding that way.
Hold on, I'm not trying to discredit anybody. All I'm saying is, if the first picture we showed of him, if that guy walked in my kid's hospital room, oh, I think you're in the wrong room, sir. Thanks. Have a good day.
I mean, that's all based on the parent, and it's just like, sir, who are you? And that'll become a number one concern. I mean, altering your appearance will actually raise eyebrows to some folks, because it'll be like, that's not who you used to look like in the past. I mean, the guy's also dealt with a lot of drug and alcohol abuse in the past, and who knows what his behavior is like these days behind the scenes compared to what he's doing in the studio. A lot of people, I'll put it this way, we don't know where he goes to, if he's going to dedicate himself to it and he'll commit to it without having a proper meltdown or an improper meltdown in front of, say 1 or 2 or 3 kids, or let alone a crowd of kids. I mean, because after a while, the gathering, the anxiety and everything, it's just going to be so overwhelming for him. And I mean, if he can do it, I'm all for it. But he's going to get judged by a whole lot of people. I'm not going to judge him because dude's been through enough. He's been through a lot, and he's been through enough. And,
well, I mean, he just had a kid too, so maybe he's changed a little bit, right? I mean, I can't judge what celebrities go through. I mean, just imagine all the stalkers wrestling fans have, or wrestlers have, and celebrities. Definitely not discrediting him from any wrongdoing that he's done in his life. But nonetheless, like, if he's still granting wishes and children want to see that, that's fantastic. And,
I mean, he's not on my bucket list of Make-A-Wishes, but...
Well, no, but, I mean, out of his 290 billion followers, I'm sure there's a few kids, right?
I mean, if we want to go off script here, Cody Rhodes does have that big ass tattoo on his neck.
Yeah.
I'm going to say one last thing on the subject, and then we're going to move on. I'm surprised he survived announcing that he was marrying a Baldwin.
Oh, that's right. That's what Stevens, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah. Doesn't matter. That whole family is...
Baldwin.
Listen, I love the Baldwins. Let me be clear about that right now. But that whole family is nuts.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's perfect for him. He's also nuts. So that's the thing. I mean, like, we could talk about this for a very long time. We got to remember where we're crisscrossing our conversations here, right? Like, so
Joe,
I guess you could say we're destroying some kayfabe here.
We're destroying something, and I'm not sure what it is, but it's not great. So
that is a very nice segue.
Doing great. Love it for you.
That is a very nice segue, and that brings us to destroying kayfabe. Make-A-Wish and John Cena, a record-setting 650 wishes. Now, before I turn this over to you, Styles, I have a question. I have long held the opinion that John Cena would not have been able to grant nearly as many wishes as a heel and I'm not talking about like the heel run he did during his last year. I'm talking like earlier on in his career. If they had turned him into a heel, would he be able to be at 650 wishes, or does my opinion hold water on this?
I mean, I think it's a very strong opinion at this point. He was loved as a heel more than he was, hated as a face. I mean, yeah, he was getting booed a lot. He'd go into every hometown and he would shit on their favorite team or, something about the town. But in the end, he was loved. It was when they turned him into basically the Hulk Hogan of the Ruthless Aggression era that would have changed and turned heads a bit. But honestly, I don't think it would have changed a bit because, I mean, if that was the case, he wouldn't have got those numbers he did. The guy became a fan favorite as soon as he started doing battle raps outside of arenas against guys that look like Kenny Dykstra. So, I mean, the guy, he put himself out there. He put himself on the pedestal. And in the end, it paid off. He became the poster boy and, the corporate face for the company to where he would have had no problem throwing in a wager on how many people can he make a wish to per year, and that was a big quota. So, but but yeah, when it comes to John Cena and doing what he did, I mean, with the 24 hours per day that you get to go out, he's losing sleep. On top of that, if you remember promos that he used to cut, the road schedule was already brutal as is. He would have to go to news stations to promote the show that's coming to town, and behind that, he also had the Make-A-Wish Foundation riding on his shoulders. So it was impossible. But what was one of the names we gave John Cena while he was in the ring doing his thing against a 3-on-1 where the odds are all against him? Who remembers the name that they gave him? Super Cena.
Yep. I'll be bringing that up later too.
And that right there, if he threw the suit on him, put the cape on, he was Super Cena. He did it every freaking week, 24/7, 365, 366 on leap years. But, the guy, he is, as Kurt Angle would say, he is a cyborg. It's more than work ethic. It's all about his humanity. And the thing that made me feel bad about John when he's, not in the business, but when he's on the road or he's doing, living his personal life, you were talking about the stalkers earlier. You had the paparazzi, the TMZs, and all these guys that go around with their phones following the dude and interfering with his personal life and just getting in his space. They're out there to give him a bad rep while he's still trying to connect with kids, inspire them and make their day, because their day might not come the next day. They can finally say that I met John Cena. Those 650 kids mean a whole lot to him compared to what he, what he meant to them. It just, they'll remember that day for the rest of their life, and he'll get to remember it. And then he also has to live with the burden that, I wouldn't call so much a burden, but he'll have to live with the fact that he's going to see a kid that he may never see again down the road because they're battling lifelong illnesses. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to just doing what he did, he was just one of the greatest human beings in the world. It didn't matter if he was face, if he was a heel, if he was a tweener. No one else would be able to do what John Cena has done within his 23-year career if it wasn't for the fact that he put himself out there. He probably didn't even expect it to happen the way it did. And to see all that happen all the way to the very end, like Baron said, he's in pain at this point and he needs his rest, and hopefully he gets plenty of that. I hope he takes time away from making movies as well so he can focus on his health a bit before he gets back into anything else.
And at that point, what you just said is that's a fucked up thing. He's one of those guys that is not going to, right? He reminds me of like my dad, like about to retire, right? I mean, what do you do when you're tired? Like the main goal is to enjoy the rest of your life, right? And do whatever you want to do, travel. my dad's out here creating a new fucking business, about to go back to auto body repair, right? After working at a company for 30 plus years. And like, I understand that hunger, but I see that in John Cena too, right? I see him not settling down. I think we might see him in some type of backstage role. I don't see him ever escaping WWE entirely, right?
No, no.
I just feel like there's something more for him to do. He's still got a lot of life left. He's younger. So I don't. Is it the last time we see him wrestle? I think so, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Is it the last time we see him around WWE?
No,
I don't think so. I think we're gonna see him. I think, give it 6 months, close to a full calendar year, and we'll see him somewhere.
I think I know what's next in his WWE career. If he's not going to be on the active roster as a competitor, more than just being an ambassador, they've done it for Kurt Angle. They've done it. Let's see, who else have they done it for? See, Paul Heyman, Eric Bischoff. Yeah, I think he might be a future general manager for either Raw or SmackDown when they no longer need Adam Pearce or Nick Aldis.
I'm all for it. I mean,
honestly, he's a man, and I think he would fit that role very, very well. The Authority era is going to kick back into overdrive, and it's going to be Cena's time.
I'd be down to see him. I just think TV time wise, I don't know. I feel like with all these big deals they're running with Netflix and everything, they almost have to keep him around for something, right? Yeah. Same boat goes with The Rock. John Cena, if you take John Cena away, who's drawing in ticket sales right now?
I mean, this guy right here kind of.
Do you think people are going to events just for him?
I mean, right now,
listen, everybody's mad at Gunther right now, and I'm going to get more into that here in a little bit. But
how could you be mad at that man?
Like, oh no, I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying. People right now are very upset about that. As we heard them very vocally last night and Saturday night, they're not happy. What is going to happen going forward is you're going to see people shell out the money to see Gunther get what's coming to him. That's why you often see the heel come out on top at the end of the show. Because now the fans are like, he didn't get what he deserved tonight. We need to see him get what he deserves. We'll be back for the next show. And they keep coming back to see the heel get what he deserves. And then at some point, they get their big payoff. So right now, as I said, I'll get more into it here in a little bit. But right now, Gunther is going to be selling a lot of tickets.
I mean, the whole money making on him is basically just him getting booed. And that's all it is. The crowd it's just going to be a giant heat factory, regardless if he's out there for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 or 30 minutes. They're paying to boo him. They don't care about anything else what he does. He goes into the ring, they're going to just boo him. They don't care at this point. This new era of fans, it's going to be wild. If you saw what happened after Saturday night's main event, he had to have escorted security by, what was it, NYPD?
They were in DC,
or DC Metro. So it would have been DC Metro Police, that's right. I don't know why I got that mixed with New York. But yeah, it was right, because it was Capital One Arena. The DC police had to escort him to safety so he can get out of there alive. That's how hostile. This is bringing back like the 70s and 80s when I guess we can call it post-Cold War, because there was who was that one? Who was the guy that was? Well, Sergeant Slaughter got death threats in the 80s. I remember that when he pretended to defect to Iran, and he was with Colonel Mustafa. If you remember that, Sergeant Slaughter was getting.
The gimmick was that he actually did.
Yeah. So and it worked. So we're getting that back with Gunther, and I'm thinking to myself, this is the perfect opportunity. But now we got fans that are more degenerate today that smell like they haven't taken a shower in 3 weeks, running around threatening people like they're someone special. I'm gonna boom because it's freaking hilarious. Because you know what, we all knew it was going to happen when a wrestler retires. Do you think most of the time they're actually going to win a match? The only person that did was Terry Funk, and that was in independent shows. But you can't compare Terry Funk to John Cena. John Cena wanted to go on his terms, and fans didn't want to accept that. Instead, they shifted blame to the to the opposition.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing I got to say is here, we're not supposed to take showers every 3 weeks?
No, only once a month if needed.
Okay.
All right,
good. I'm just double checking for my well-being here.
I mean, every day is fine by me, but
some days I gotta check sometimes I gotta check myself working from home. I don't know what's going on, but I'm like, all right, I gotta jump in that bitch.
I mean, it's every month if needed, but don't go more than 8 weeks before you take a shower.
Okay,
that's
a good timeline. I like that. That's reasonable.
I mean, I did that in the field, but that was a different story.
So, Styles, you were talking about the level of hate that Gunther has. Weren't you supposed to be a part of that Boo Fest last night?
So, yes, I'm glad you asked, because I was going to go to that show last night. Prior to the show, I called the Giant Center, their box office, and I specifically said, does the WWE still give out free tickets to military veterans? And the first thing that came out of their mouth was, we got no notification that the WWE is still giving free tickets to military veterans, both active and veteran status. And I thought to myself, but if you go to their webpage, it tells you right there that they're granted one free ticket per show, per venue. And I got put on hold so she can go talk to her manager about it. And I don't think she talked to the manager. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm done talking here. And I am very discouraged if it was a lack of communication between TKO, WWE, and the Giant Center, or just the Giant Center saying, oh yeah, we don't do free tickets. Because if anyone goes to Hershey is now well known for being a very greedy corporation instead of a family fun time company. And someone's gaslighting veterans for not being able to get free tickets to these shows. And it's very discouraging, because ever since 9/11/2001, not even a year later, JBL or Bradshaw was the one that considered talking to Vince into, let's support the military veterans, and they kept it there ever since. Now, ever since TKO has taken over, you've been hearing less and less about the military veterans. And the last time they did a tribute to the troops was basically about 2-3 years ago almost. So that was around the time where Vince was on his way out and a new company was shifting power in. So now there's a whole lot of things that are into question. What is going on in the WWE? That are they still offering, or are they not? It says on their webpage that they still do. You got to show up right at the beginning or before the show starts if there's any tickets available. I think they need to change the policy up where you should have one section dedicated to the veterans. It doesn't even have to, it can be up in the nosebleed section, because that's one of the perfect views where I can get pictures and whatever I want from that show, so I can make memories of my own besides having to watch it on TV on my couch. But I thought to myself, this right here might be the biggest disregard to us vets, because now it feels like we're being left out. Now, AEW, I know we're not the biggest of fans with that. They actually do free tickets per show for every veteran out there, and all you got to do is present ID right at the event. Now, when it comes to WWE, it's starting to feel more and more non-existent. I'm hoping that's not true, and I'd like to get some kind of clarity from both the WWE, TKO, and the Giant Center staff. So things like that really, really discourage me, because they've been doing it for years and years and years, and now all of a sudden it's like it's no longer existent. So,
and let me be clear about something real quick. If this is the Giant Center gaslighting CM Styles, don't do that. Seriously, don't do that. And if this is WWE TKO screwing over the vets, don't do that. Don't do that. Only Dizzy the Baron and I get to gaslight this man over here, well, and his family. I'm not going to take that away from them. They deserve it. They've had to put up with him all these years. But, yeah, do not gaslight this man. And as far as if it's WWE TKO that screwed this up, don't do that. All right? That's wrong. This man had busted his ass for that program to be something for him, to be able to go see this show. And if you guys took it away, you're wrong for that.
yeah, and the worst part is I don't know if I'll ever get a clear answer out of that one, because the way that they explained it there is that usually you're supposed to go the day of the show. Now, hence, when you go there, you have to pay for parking ahead in advance, because they got like 12 gates that you got to go through, and you're going to spend about $35 just for parking. Imagine paying for parking, but there's no free ticket for a veteran. You just spent $35 that may not be refundable, and things like that. Things like this need to be addressed in the future of these promotions, because you're already going to get money from the inside for merchandise and the food and everything else. But, they'll probably say, well, if you can afford all that, you can afford a ticket. That wasn't the case. The case was, you guys want to support military veterans, and I'm not saying give it to me, but at the same time, I did a great deed for this country that not many people get an opportunity to do, and I'd like a little bit of gratitude out of it. It's not like I'm trying to come to every show, but I feared for this to be a double tape, and I thought this would be one hell of a moment that I got to see things that not many other people are going to get to see, unless they see it at the comfort of their own home, states away on television. And I mean, I'm not going to like whip up some crocodile tears, because I'm not about that, but I will say it does hurt seeing that there was a lack of communication between the WWE and the Giant Center staff, to where there was no emails, letters, nothing about that. I think what the Giant Center should do from this point forward is to contact them and recommend these kind of questions to be put into play, instead of expecting the WWE at the same time, to where they can say, all right, well, here's what we have for our policy, put such and such on standby, and then sell the rest. But I don't think they know how to handle this whole thing, because Vince was the one that controlled it with his old team, and I think this new team has zero clue what they're doing.
Yeah, I can totally buy that. All right. I'm not trying to take away from what he's had to say over here. It's very important. I want everybody to remember that. Support your vets. Thank them for what they've done. And leave the gaslighting of Styles to the professionals that are right here on this show. All right. I want to talk about something for just a moment. And look, I can admit when I'm wrong. Since start of the Last Time Is Now tournament, I have said that I think Gunther is a mistake for Cena's final opponent. I don't think beating Cena will give Gunther much of a boost. Well, I was wrong. It elevated him as a heel to the point that he needed an escort to his car after Saturday night's main event. And he was drowned out by the crowd on Raw because of how badly they were booing him. So I was wrong. In the modern era, I've only heard Dom booed like that, and his boos actually fell short of what Gunther got last night on Raw. Prior to that, I can't remember the last time a heel got that much heat. Well, besides me.
Roman Reigns, Undertaker. This is my yard now. But he was a face. He was a face.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was just hated even though he was a face. That's different. I'm talking an actual heel getting that level of heat. Besides me. Look, as a heel, I can tell you how good it feels to have the crowd drown you out when you speak. It means you have successfully done the job of a heel. The exception to that is Laurinaitis, because they drowned him out because they just really didn't care to hear what he had to say. But that's not the point. There truly is no better feeling than knowing how well you succeeded at getting the desired reaction out of the fans. And I spent years relishing that feeling when I would get in the ring and I would have the mic in my hand and I hadn't moved it to my face yet, but they were already booing so loud that you wouldn't be able to hear me over the loudspeaker system. So I admit I was wrong. I misassessed the situation, and this did exactly what it should have done. It gave Gunther that boost that I didn't think it could. Baron?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we've talked about it, like on the show of the tournament, who's most likely to succeed and actually benefit from this. And I think Gunther was clearly the number one choice. I mean, I was speaking on Gunther since day one, right? When this started. And it's good to see that it did help. And, kind of like I think Styles said earlier in the show, I mean, this is going to benefit him long term. He can run with this for ages, right? Like, this is his new persona. Like, I beat not only John Cena, but I retired Goldberg. So there's two fucking names right there for the guy that he can run with this forever. And, I mean, yeah, I think, Max can speak to it more than all of us here. It's just when you're in the ring, you're a wrestler, you're a performer, or whatever we're wanting to call them, and you're a heel, your goal is to draw heat from that crowd. And I think Monday night was perfect example of what that story was meant to be. We're going to hear time and time and time and time again about John Cena losing. But this point was the best outcome you could have had through all of this, right? I don't think it could have got better at all. I think this is what, I was more concerned why. And I said this in the chat too, and I still don't know why. The crowd booed the fuck out of Triple H.
Yeah, that made no sense.
Chanted AEW, did all this stuff, and there's a lot that is warranted that the crowd and fans can talk their shit about Triple H, and I'm with them. This was not that moment. This was a perfect moment of John Cena passing that torch. And I think Max has a segment for me later. I'll go deeper into it. But, yeah, man, I don't think this could have got better. The way he left the ring, came back in the ring, left the ring again, came back and stood up on top of the fucking... That's what you're supposed to do when you're a heel. It's great fucking work. And kudos to Gunther. I think he was a star even before this, but this kind of trajected him as the top heel in the company, right? I don't think there's any way we can discourage that. And the big thing with that entire moment, too, was him leaving the Hershey arena.
Yeah.
And AJ Styles is just sitting at that car and getting ready to drive off and roll that window down and hit him with this. I was chuckling. And I hope to God that Gunther is not the guy that retires AJ Styles, but I think there's a little fucking tease right there for that. And when we talk about, big stars that could fill a little void of John Cena being gone, I don't think there's anybody else other than AJ Styles who could do that. So I think a good feud is going to come out of that too. And yeah, man, I thought it was great, dude. He is. That's what I'm saying. This is his way to kind of maybe fill that void of John Cena being a babyface, going against that monster heel for the time being, because we don't know when he's really truly leaving, but we all know it soon. But goddamn, if Gunther retires AJ Styles too, I mean, what else are you going to do with Gunther at this point? I mean, he
I
never
already,
needs
I already know
he
where
never
they're
needs a
going.
belt ever again in his life.
No, I already know where they're going with this gimmick now. He's already retired 2 legends. He's going to get the Randy Orton treatment, being the new legend killer.
Go for it. I think that's the perfect fucking person to do it.
So you're going to retire AJ Styles eventually. When Randy Orton's career is coming to a close, guess who's next? Randy Orton. Brock Lesnar plans on retiring after SummerSlam of 2026. And if we get a Brock versus Gunther, that's 3 legends right there. And down the road, we might see CM Punk in that lineup as well.
And I'll touch more on that later, but if that happens, that would mean that he retired 3 out of 4 of the OVW class of 2022 or 2002. So, real quick, before I take us into our next segment, Joe Tessitore, listen, you're on Netflix. Don't worry about it. Just say the word. You don't have to sit there and just, substitute the letter in there to cover up for what Gunther said. You can say it. It's Netflix. You guys have longer leashes now. So that means that instead of going, Gunther came out here and said he tapped Cena out like a little bee, just say it. Gunther said he tapped Cena out like a little bitch. Because that's what Gunther said. You're on Netflix. You can say it. All right, up next, Baron. Not everybody liked the match and how it ended, though. So up next, it's time for the Baron's Buzzkill. And I'm going to read us a little story here. It comes from WrestlingNews.co, and I've been seeing this everywhere. But Jeff Jarrett slams Cena's retirement match finish and calls it the single dumbest finish in the history of the business. On the latest episode of his podcast, My World, WWE Hall of Famer Jeff Jarrett did not hold back his criticism of the finish to John Cena's final wrestling match at Saturday night's main event. Jarrett called the decision to have Cena lose via submission to Gunther the single dumbest finish in the history of the business. Jarrett argued that having the face of the industry tap out his farewell match undermined consumer confidence and went against the core principles of building a babyface. He specifically took aim at the notion that Cena going out on his back was a necessary adherence to wrestling tradition. That time-honored tradition that is the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever heard, Jarrett said. It almost goes against the grain of every territory and really even in through Hulkamania days and the 90s. What do you do to a legend? You protect them. You make up for their shortcomings in the ring. You kind of respect and take care of the integrity of the business. Jarrett emphasized that the crowd in Washington, D.C. paid premium prices solely to see Cena, not the undercard or the brand itself. The most important or valuable customers that paid, on average, $850 for one guy. They weren't there to see anything other than John Cena's last match, Jarrett stated. When you have the entire arena chanting the things that they chanted and them saying, oh yeah, this is the exact desired reaction, maybe it is. Maybe that is the desired action going to. But time-honored tradition bullshit, that's just silly. Jarrett elaborated on why he believes the finish was a mistake, pointing to Cena's never give up mantra as a powerful tool that extends beyond the wrestling ring. Why do you think it was the single dumbest? Why do I think it was the single dumbest finish? Because I think it's a direct slap in the face of the face of our industry. Never give up, Jarrett explained. Do you know how impactful it is if I'm in a room full of bankers or TV executives and I can look them in the face and a non-wrestling fan and say, do you know who holds the record for the most Make-A-Wish visits in the history of that organization? It's a professional wrestler. Yes, it's John Cena. His whole mantra, hustle, loyalty, respect, never give up, and you're going to get this bullshit that we got to get heat on a heel in a time-honored tradition? Conrad, it's the silliest, most ridiculous argument that people are throwing up. Jarrett also questioned the effectiveness of the heat generated by the finish, suggesting that the negative reaction was directed more at the company's creative direction than at Gunther himself. Apparently, he said that before he watched Monday Night Raw. Gunther, he got some heat. There's no doubt about it. But when Hunter came through the curtain and they booed the shit out of him, it's almost as if like he got that ref heat, Jarrett said, and ref heat don't draw money. It never have and it never will. Sure, Gunther's going to get some heat, but the real heat out of that match was on creative, and that doesn't draw money. And before I turn this over to Baron, I'm going to pull up this image that I sent over to the group, and I want to actually read the words he put into the tweet for this. Did I not send it to the group? Huh, I guess I didn't. I know I have it because I specifically saved it for this purpose. Not that I knew at the time when I saved it that I was planning on giving Baron this for his buzzkill, but maybe I didn't. Okay, so Jarrett messaged out something along the lines of, there we go. Love watching movies when the superhero gets destroyed in the final scene and then dies. Even better when my favorite sports team not only gets beat but gives up with a smile on their face. Makes me feel good about spending time/money on the night. Creative is subjective. Baron, as a guy who has been around this business for as many years as he has, is it weird that this is coming from him, that he's taking this stance?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. I think of all people, the more I think about it, he should be the one that understands. Right? Like,
Yeah.
Jeff
I
Jarrett's
believe it. I agree.
been in the business for decades upon decades. Ran a promotion. Still in wrestling. Ran two.
Yeah.
It's still in wrestling. I mean, has his brain been diluted by being in AEW for however long he's been in AEW now? Is that what's happened? Terrible booking? Is that where his judgment has changed? I don't know. But, like, to me, of course, do we ever want to see the good guy lose? No, that's fucking fantasy wrestling. That's entertainment. We never want to see a good guy lose. I mean, fucking take the end game, for example. Did we? You know what I'm saying? Like, we never want to see the good guy lose in anything. But when it comes to someone like his, and what really triggers me is a hustle, loyalty, respect, never give up mentality that people love to push. They fucking hated it 10 years ago. They couldn't stand this motherfucker. They wanted him off this goddamn TV. The WWE was tanking because of this guy, by the way. And I'm sure we can go through tweets from these promoters or wrestlers throughout the years and see that they were dogging him. My problem is the concept you don't understand. There's not a cop-out with this, right? Never give up. What happens when it's time to give up? You give up, right? Like, that was his way of signifying that I am done with wrestling. It wasn't that he wanted to give up. You seen his face when he tapped out. I mean, look at our photo here. That's our head, there's a grin, there's a smile, and then right after that was the tap out. He understood the job. He understood what needed to be happen. What was the benefit of John Cena defeating Gunther? That's the biggest question I have to Jeff Jarrett. What long-term booking wise, or just long-term future for WWE, what would have happened if John Cena beat Gunther?
Nothing would have happened. If anything, I think it would have hurt.
It would have hurt Gunther. Gunther would have not. His stock would have went down. Nothing would have benefited him. He's obviously the future of the company. He's younger. He's got talent. He's over now with the crowd. Like, I hate these point of views because it's not given the full scope. It's given, well, it's John Cena. His motto is never give up. Yeah, but there's a time in life when you have a profession that you have to give up. It's not because you want to give up. It's because you have to, right? And I hate that. I've seen so many tweets and so many people just bashing this booking. Of the last year, or when did the retirement tour start? Has it been a year?
About almost a year, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, past year, I thought that whole build-up until his retirement match was absolute dog shit. I think the moment he lost at Royal Rumble to Jey Uso and he won that fucking thing, won the title, that was the biggest, dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in wrestling. Ever. That, I mean, where did that benefit Jey Uso? He's back in the tag team division. Okay? That could have been a point in time that John Cena could have went to WrestleMania, headline, won, whatever, even though whatever happened. But I thought the booking all the way up until the match with Gunther was some of the worst I've ever seen because none of it made sense. None of it. Terrible, awful. So if there was a point in time that I could agree with people bitching about this, was the whole road up to this. This was the single best moment of his retirement tour. Was this match? How he went out. Everybody came out. He put his stuff down in the ring like most people do when they retire in the ring. There was a beautiful vendetta or vignette, whatever the fuck we call it, right?
Yeah, vignette or something.
Vignette, right? I forget what you call that.
Vignette.
Vignette, yes. What did I say? Vendetta?
I prefer video package.
Video package. That's a good, yeah. Okay, video package from here out. And I thought that was great. And yeah, man, this was. I can't agree with Jeff Jarrett. I think that's a bullshit take. That's a cop out. It just doesn't make sense coming from Jeff Jarrett. I think he, of all people, would understand the reason behind this. And yeah, piss off. Bad take.
Especially since he's a third-generation wrestler. His father is Jerry Jarrett, who is very well known in the wrestling business. And his grandfather on his mother's side is Eddie Marlin. So, I mean, this is a guy that should have learned tradition while he was still in diapers.
Just remember, this is the guy that could smash a dozen guitars and never draw a dime.
One of the most overrated wrestlers of all time.
Come on. Look at the stroke he had in WCW when he was paired with Vince Russo as the powers that be right at the dying days. As if the NWO wasn't one thing. The NWO 2000 with Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, he didn't draw a dime because of the fact that it wasn't actually him singing the song. Just for the record.
Come on, be my baby tonight.
I mean, yeah, you know, terrible take, but there's a lot of bad takes out there in wrestling. I just don't understand that point of view from fans nor wrestlers in the business. That what would have benefited John Cena winning that match, going out.
There was zero benefit.
It's zero benefit.
Lose-lose. It was a lose-lose to begin with.
John Cena's point was to pass the torch and was to pass the legacy on to generation, and he did that with a few matches that he had with wrestlers during that period of time, paying homage to other wrestlers with moves in the ring. So this booking, this finish was actually the best booking, best finish out of the entire retirement tour that they had. So if you're bitching about this, I don't know what to fucking tell you. You're not watching the same wrestling I am. But if
they didn't watch the beginning of
last year, I would agreed with you.
I don't think they watched the whole tour at all. I think they were just looking forward to them. Yeah, I'll be honest to say this. I'm glad it wasn't LA Knight because it was Knight versus Gunther, and it ended up being Gunther. I'm so glad it went that way because LA Knight's already on a hot streak. Could you imagine if he would have won and it would have been him? How would you divert him from? You would have to turn him heel instantly. I mean, he works better as a heel, but I like him as a face right now because he's kind of giving me Rock, Stone Cold, Ric Flair vibes mixed all together. So it's just like he's got an attitude with it, but Gunther
was a great pick. Yeah, dude. Like, I don't think you could have had a better pick throughout that entire tournament and made it into something, right?
I mean, we all knew it was going to happen, but the way they did it, and of course, I'm reading here in the chat. There was no promo between Cena and Gunther at all. But
they didn't need it.
They didn't. But Gunther cut that promo prior to Saturday's main event last Raw, and that's all it took right there because he said he was going to make Cena give up. He was going to make him either tap or whatever. He's going to beat him.
And he made him tap like a little bitch. You see how that works, Joe Tessitore?
You just wanted to say that bitch word, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
And that was a great promo. That it didn't need to be a 15-minute promo cut.
It didn't.
It didn't need to be any of that. It was to the point, and that's what I like about Gunther. He's not this fabricated, manufactured star like I get from a couple people on that roster currently, but like that's all that was needed because he backs it up in the ring. He's a great wrestler. He makes the point that's needed in the ring too. So yeah, great finish, man. Fuck you.
I'm glad it's going the way it is now. I really am. I'm 100% behind Gunther. I don't care what the IWC or WWE Universe thinks right now. That's their problem. Our thing is making sure Gunther succeeds as a mega heel after all this. Don't kill that momentum.
We don't need a segment between both men talking, and let me tell you why. A wise man once told me that the best wrestling matches are the ones where you can follow the story even if you have commentary muted. Okay? You don't need words to tell a story in the ring. And the story here was John Cena was retiring win or lose. What mattered was Gunther telling us, I'm going to make him give up. That was the only talking that we needed for this. I didn't need to listen to Cole and Wade Barrett. That match told the story on its own. It did a damn good job, and it was amazing. They did a very good job telling the story in the ring. The greatest match of all time, in my personal opinion, is Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. And I didn't need commentary for that match. That match told the story. CM Punk versus Chris Jericho, another great match. You don't need commentary to follow the story that's happening in that match. Triple H versus Undertaker with Shawn Michaels as the referee. This is another one. You don't need the words. And a lot of times you didn't get words in that build-up on that one. It was a lot of pointing at signs and grunting and stuff. You can tell a story without getting on a microphone. It's not an easy thing. It takes a special level of skill. And this story had that level of skill. I will go to bat for this storyline build-up over others every day of the week because it was very well built by two of the best in the business. And it had a storyline. It's Cena's retirement. Gunther's going to tap him out and make him an embarrassment. That had exactly what it needed. So, but let's talk about something else. Let's talk about what Cena's best feud was, in your opinion. This story comes from USA Today, and it lists 10 of his top feuds. And then, we'll talk about what our favorite was. More than 23 years is enough time to develop heated rivals in wrestling, and John Cena had plenty of them in WWE. As the face of WWE for decades, Cena got to the top of the wrestling world thanks to the epic showdowns he had with other big-time stars. Whether it was the promos, matches, or the stakes, some feuds stood out above the rest. They often helped raise the legacy of both Cena and his rival as they each brought the best out of each other. And those heated rivalries helped produce some of wrestling's top moments in recent memory. Of course, not all of them were top-tier quality, but there were rivalries that transcended the sport and helped shape what wrestling is today. Now, as Cena has ended his career, it's time to look back on the best feuds that helped define his illustrious career. Coming in at number 10 on this list on USA Today, Shawn Michaels. After some brief encounters early in his career, Cena entered a fantastic duel with Michaels in 2007. As they headed toward the WrestleMania 23 main event, they surprisingly won World Tag Team Championship, but generated great heat while holding the titles. It culminated in an epic clash at WrestleMania with Prime Cena taking on Michaels, who had plenty of talent still left in his legendary career. The match delivered, and Cena successfully defended his title in a thriller. It wouldn't be their most memorable bout. Less than a month later, they fought at Monday Night Raw in London in a match that lasted nearly an hour. Regarded as one of the best bouts in Monday Night history, Michaels won to even the score and cap off what was a sensational start of 2007 between the two. Number 9, Big Show. There are some Cena rivalries that reignited again and again, including his battles with the Big Show. Cena's rise in WWE is thanks to the Big Show. as the two feuded up to WrestleMania 20 in 2003, which included a hilarious rap battle between the two. At WrestleMania 20, the two started the event in a match for the United States Championship. It started with a bang and was capped off with the shot of Cena picking up the 500-pound Big Show for the Attitude Adjustment to win his first title in WWE and put him on the trajectory to stardom. The two tangled several times afterward and even were tag partners on occasion. Notable matches include the Triple Threat World Heavyweight title match at WrestleMania 25 and the months-long battle that took place in 2009 after Big Show sent Cena through a light fixture with a chokeslam at Backlash. In 2012, the two met again with the Authority storyline. Cena got in the ring with the Big Show for more than a decade, with their last match in 2015 a testament to their longevity. JBL. In order for Cena to be WWE's top guy, he needed to be the top champion. That happened with the fantastic battle with John Bradshaw Layfield in 2005. It was a sign of the times. JBL was the veteran heel champion, while Cena was the up-and-coming beloved star. The passion they displayed as Cena sought JBL's title and the champion tried to silence the newbie was captivating and was main event worthy. They faced off at WrestleMania 21 for the title, and Cena ended JBL's 9-month reign to win the WWE Championship, his first world title. They continued when they met again at Judgment Day in an I Quit match, which produced the famous image of a bloodied Cena. It showed Cena's toughness as he retained the gold. The two would meet again in 2008 when they had another string of vicious battles. JBL was the perfect person to turn Cena into a main event name. Cena likely would have become a superstar anyway, but the feud and match cemented Cena's status and worthiness. JBL also gave Cena the great nickname of Big Match John. Brock Lesnar. I know that there are people here that are going to disagree with this. It's in the article, though. Let me read it.
Not the Brock Lesnar article. Skip that one. We get it. Okay, move on.
Cena and Lesnar came in. Actually, there is important information here at the start. Cena and Lesnar came into WWE together. That's going to come into play later in the show. And their paths crossed several times, and the two each rose to become major forces in the company. They first met on SmackDown in 2002 as rookies and battled throughout the next 23 years. With each meeting, the stage got bigger as their stardom grew. After the last meeting in 2004, they faced off in 2012 when Lesnar returned to the WWE. In Extreme Rules, Super Cena overcame the domination from Lesnar and defeated him in a bloody battle for his first win in the rivalry. They met again in 2014 when Lesnar's domination continued, and it was capped off in their final meeting at WrestlePalooza 2025. Kurt Angle. Why not go back to number 6, Kurt Angle? Why not go back to the very beginning? Cena introduced himself in a big way in his WWE debut against Angle when he famously uttered ruthless aggression before attacking the Olympic gold medalist. While Angle won, Cena let the wrestling world know that he was no ordinary wrestler. As Cena climbed his way to the top of the WWE, it felt like Angle was always there. Angle challenged for the United States Championship. Cena beat him to get the WWE title match at WrestleMania 21. And after Cena won the championship, Angle eventually fought him for it. Then there was the first blood match in January 2006 when a bloodied Cena put Angle in the STF. When Cena put Angle in the STFU. Thank you, USA Today, for mistitling that. The established star tested Cena at several key moments on his way to the top. Number 5, AJ Styles. It's a shame we had to wait until 2016 to see these two icons lock up, but when they did, boy, did they make up for it. After Styles made a thunderous entrance to WWE, it wasn't long before these two got tangled up in a rivalry. Styles attacked Cena, and they had their dream match at Money in the Bank, which Styles won. It started a trilogy of incredible matches as the two brought out the best of each other every time they squared off. Styles won again at SummerSlam, and Royal Rumble 2017 is where they capped it off in tremendous fashion. It was a thriller where Cena beat Styles, and it came with the prize of being a record-tying 16-time WWE champion. Just for good measure, we got to see the veterans wrestle again at Crown Jewel in October, and they stole the show and turned back the clock to deliver one of the best matches of the year. Actually, I think it was the best match between the two of them out of all of their rivalry. Two of wrestling's greatest didn't have the most heat in a rivalry, but their mutual respect and stellar matches makes this one of the best in Cena's time. Number 4, The Rock. Two faces of a generation, two wrestling stars that made it to Hollywood and dominated the box office. It was must-see TV seeing these two collide. When The Rock came back to WWE in 2011, the megastars instantly became intertwined as the two greats generated great distaste for each other. They delivered epic promos against one another for a year to build up the once-in-a-lifetime match at WrestleMania 28, which became the most anticipated bout in WWE history. The Rock emerged victorious, but it didn't end there. Cena was fixated on getting a rematch for an entire year, and it happened in 2012 at WrestleMania 29. The heat didn't waver, and they had another big-time showdown with Cena winning and The Rock officially passing the torch to his foe. Even though they only wrestled each other twice, it didn't end there. In the wild main event of WrestleMania 40, Cena surprised and helped Cody Rhodes against the Bloodline, which brought out The Rock for another epic face-off. The two then joined forces for a shocking heel turn, but that storyline never really developed and left a stain on their history. But given they're the two biggest household wrestling names in the 21st century, it never got as star-studded as this. Number 3, CM Punk. Cena and Punk couldn't be any more different. Cena was the prototypical superhero, and Punk was the obscure, rebellious star. That's what made it perfect. The two drew very emotional reactions anytime they squared off, starting with the rivalry of the year in 2011. It catapulted itself into WWE lore in June 2011 when Punk interfered with Cena's match and delivered the infamous pipe bomb promo detailing his frustrations with Cena's stardom while blurring the lines of reality and fantasy. They had their title match at Money in the Bank in Punk's hometown of Chicago, which had one of the best environments for a WWE show ever, with cheering for Punk and hostility for Cena. Punk won the WWE title in what was, at the time, his final night in the company, leaving with the top prize. A week later, Punk returned with Cult of Personality and reignited the heat. There were more battles over the next 2 years, and they were able to bring it back in June when both stars showed they hadn't skipped a beat, with Cena delivering his own pipe bomb and each continuing the disses. When you call your opponent your wrestling soulmate, it is a sign of one of the best rivalries a wrestler can have. Number 2, Randy Orton. Perhaps no one has more ring history with Cena than Orton, as the two entered the WWE together and embarked on a career-long rivalry that contained several big moments on the grandest stages. Cena and Orton first met in 2005 to kickstart a 20-year feud as they rose to the top of the business. Orton brought such a fiery passion to every rivalry matchup, but it was the greatest when Cena was opposite him. The rivalry took off in 2007 as they chased the WWE title, highlighted by arguably their best match at SummerSlam. A few months later, Orton defeated Cena and Triple H for the championship at WrestleMania 24. They put on several great stipulation matches afterward and culminated the feud at Backlash, where the one-time prodigies got to meet as WWE legends and reignite the heat one more time. What helped was their constant battles to be at the top of the company. In total, Cena and Orton were in the ring together 23 times for a WWE title. At non-Royal Rumble Premium Live events, they were in the same match 23 times, with 11 of them being one-on-one battles. Altogether, no one has faced Cena more than Orton, and it created one of the best rivalries in the sport. Now, before I read number 1, would you guys like to guess who number 1 is on this list?
Rated R Superstar.
It's got to be Edge.
You already read this article, didn't you? Was it not obvious? It's clear that there was no greater Cena rival than the Rated R Superstar. You could argue Edge helped make Cena who he is, and the same could go with Cena for Edge. Both are correct, as the two stars had several epic clashes to forge one of the greatest rivalries in wrestling history. It all started with one of the most shocking moments of the 2000s when Edge cashed in the first Money in the Bank contract on a bloodied Cena at New Year's Revolution in 2006. It was a stunning moment that started a heated clash between the two that lasted for years to come. That year alone, they faced off 11 times for the title. They battled 20 times in their career for gold. It felt like there was genuine hate for each other every time they faced off or traded words. And the stakes felt like there was more than just a title on the line. They truly defined the role of babyface and heel perfectly. What's remarkable is how great this duel was in short time. It lasted less than 5 years, with their last match against each other coming in September of 2010. It's a shame we never got to see them face off once more to bring back the fiery passion that made so many people fans. Regardless, they set the bar for what a true rivalry should look like. Cena versus Edge was one epic rivalry. And there were 3 that weren't on the list that I think should have been. The Miz should have been on there because I think that their feud was a lot of fun. I really
was it
enjoyed
just that Mania? Wait, no, they didn't have Match of Mania.
Well, yeah, Miz won the title from Cena at Mania.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
But the build-up for it was amazing. It was so much fun to watch those 2 go back and forth leading up to that Mania.
Yeah.
Especially if you're watching as Miz is sitting outside the ring and here's Cena, taking care of The Rock instead of him. Your attention's on the wrong guy. I'm over here. Chris Jericho, they had a fun feud that included a rap battle, which Jericho was supposed to play as Fozzy, but then he walked off stage instead because he didn't want to face off. And finally, the other name that I think should have been on the list is also another member of the 2002 class OVW, of the class of 2000 at OVW, Batista. Batista's the one that gave him that little scar on the neck.
Well, I think that's another one. I mean, it wasn't a long-standing feud, but it led to like one of a pivotal moment in wrestling. I don't remember the year. One Night Stand, ECW, John Cena and RVD for the WWE Championship. And that drew some fucking shit, right? Like that was a big ordeal, and I mean, I wouldn't say it was like a big feud, but like anytime 2 people,
it was a nice build-up because it was title versus title.
Yeah, right. And I mean, like the crowd.
And if Cena wins, right?
Yeah, Cena goes to ECW. Like that was a big, big ordeal. I mean, we could sit here and talk about John Cena's feuds of all time, but like, obviously you're going to ask us what's our favorite.
What's your favorite feud, Baron?
Okay, well, that's great because I don't want to give you the. I would say CM Punk, but I think CM Punk's best feud is John Cena. Okay, and the flip side, I think CM Punk benefited from John Cena, right? And I think that was the end result. John Cena didn't need it. It was a great, phenomenal body of work. Like the Money in the Bank was. It doesn't get any better than that, right? That match he had with John Cena, the crowd, him leaving the stadium, the whole fucking landscape changed a little bit there. But I don't think we could discredit the John Cena and Edge feud. I think that's phenomenal work for the early ages of wrestling in 2000s. And I mean, Edge really was at his peak at that time and helped catapult John Cena to who he is now. And I don't think we would have John Cena at that magnitude if it wasn't for Edge passing that torch over. Because that's what he did, right? I mean, he passed it over to John Cena. And I think that is some of the best. It is by far his best feud, and I think John Cena knows that as well. And Randy Orton's another great one, but I'm gonna go Edge number 1, 2 CM Punk, 3 Randy Orton. And just on the end note of my take here, I'm just glad to see John Cena and Randy Orton. I got to go to St. Louis Backlash to watch that retirement match, so I'm glad I was able to see that one last time. But I would have loved to see a brief encounter with Edge or something during this retirement period, because that really, I think, was his best feud of all time.
Yeah. Shout out to the Nexus, as Kevin said, and also to the Authority feud, because those were 2 fun feuds as well. Which feud do you got, Styles?
Edge will always be my number 1 favorite feud against Cena. I mean, it was already number 1 on the list, and we knew why. I mean, Edge brought out the best in Cena. He gave him more edge. And on top of that, pun intended, I mean, look at the promos these 2 cut with each other. What made it even better is that Lita was involved. And most of the time, it had nothing to do with cutting the promo on Edge. It was always about taking shots at Lita, because that's what made it even more hilarious. They treated her like the locker room lizard. And anybody got $5? So, I mean, come on, there was that, and like you said, Randy Orton. I mean, that'll always be the second best feud of his career because those two they've taken out for years and years and years. And we're not going to discredit Nexus at all because I mean, look what they did to Cena. I mean, really wasn't so much a Nexus; it was Wade Barrett. If it wasn't for Wade Barrett, we wouldn't have seen Cena go through a pivotal in his career where he feels like he was going to lose his job. I mean, they kind of did that with him against CM Punk if he lost the title at, what was that, Money in the Bank? Right before Punk won the title and walked out. If he lost that match and lost that title, Cena would be fired. And, of course, his job was spared thanks to the COO. So it made things more interesting. But, I mean, he's got a whole lot of good matches and feuds. Another good one was him and Sheamus, where Sheamus just pushed him into the table and he won his first ever WWE title against John Cena. I'm pretty sure I got that right. Was it the US title or was it the WWE title? I think it was the WWE title. So don't sleep on Kevin Owens. When he came in, he showed up on the main roster and he pop-up powerbomb John Cena right there in the middle of the ring. And what did he do?
That was for the U.S. title too. That was open. You remember when? Yeah, it had to be right.
Yeah,
John Cena was doing open.
He stepped on the U.S. title.
The tables match where Sheamus beat John Cena for a title took place at TLC 2009.
Oh, I thought you said Kevin Owens.
No. That was the other thing we were talking about.
Oh, he was going into Kevin Owens, but yeah. Okay. And Kevin Owens was the U.S. title. But Sheamus, I specifically went to look up which title he was thinking of with Sheamus, and it was the WWE Championship.
I thought so. But John Cena and Edge will always be the number one of all time, especially when you have One Night Stand 2, where it was Cena versus RVD, and he lost that match because what happened? Edge came in wearing that long leather trench coat and the motorcycle helmet, speared him right through the table, pulls the helmet right off, and the crowd went nuts. As soon as that happened, and then RVD just took over the rest of the match, and then it led down into September where it was Edge versus John Cena for a WWE Championship, and after a 16-foot drop off that ladder, Cena becomes your world champion once again.
And you know what? Look, I don't want to take away from the Edge Cena feud because it was amazing. It was such a great story to watch. Back then, and one of the best things that ever happened in that. Thank you, Styles, for mentioning the Lita portion of the feud. Was when Hacksaw walked up to Lita backstage and said, "Cena asked me to come say, oh." But for me, I don't measure it just by that metric as far as what my favorite feud is. For me, the CM Punk feud is my favorite. The Edge feud was great, but there was an element to the CM Punk feud that CM Punk cut his pipe bomb promo. He walked out after winning the title. He showed up at Comic-Con where Triple H was talking and made a comment about Stephanie McMahon as all part of this feud with John Cena. And I think for me, that's what made that feud such an entertaining feud, because you had that realism aspect where Punk was no longer with the company, but he showed up with that belt to pick a fight with the company. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm going to have to go with the CM Punk feud. So, all right. There was a face that was noticeably absent Saturday night. Does anybody know whose face that is?
There's a lot of faces absent Saturday night.
There was one I can think of, and he goes by 3 initials.
Yep. So this story comes to us from Cage Side Seats. Randy Orton thanks John Cena and explains why he wasn't at Cena's final match. One of Cena's most famous rivals wasn't around for his WWE farewell last week. The Viper addressed that in his message. It wasn't always the most popular rivalry, at least online, but there can be no arguing that Randy Orton wasn't one of that. There can be no arguing that Randy Orton was one of Cena's biggest rivals. So it was notable that as the wrestling world celebrated Cena last week before he ended his in-ring career, with a tap-out loss to Gunther as Saturday night's main event, we didn't see or hear from Orton. The Viper changed that last night, literally last night, sending a reflective message expressing his gratitude for Cena and his career and offering a very Cena-like explanation for his absence. I broke into the wrestling business and grew up for the past 2 decades alongside John Cena. I wrestled with or against him 100 times, at least. I would have enjoyed being there in DC for WWE Saturday Night Main Event and witness his emotional send-off into retirement. But I know if anyone understands my absence, it's John, because I was in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, promoting Riyadh's season in Royal Rumble. The morning of his retirement, we exchanged a few texts, and I was honored to speak with him on such a big day. I look forward to following John's career in Hollywood and beyond. Sky's the limit with this guy. An inspiration not only to generations of fans, but to myself, who was lucky enough to learn firsthand from one of the most over wrestlers ever. Thanks for being so good to my family over the years, and thanks for making the locker room a better place. Take care, John, and I'll see you around. We had some great faces at ringside. RVD was there, Eve was there, Kurt Angle was there, Mark Henry was there, KO, who we haven't seen since he went out with an injury.
Elias was even there.
Elias was there. It was weird to not see Randy Orton there. I mean, not necessarily sitting at ringside with all of them, but he didn't even come out with everybody else. It was so weird that for a man that has such history with John Cena to not have him there, as much as I understand that this is how the business works, and they had him promoting for Royal Rumble, to me it sucks that Saudi Arabia is what took him away from being there for Cena's farewell. But very touching words from Randy Orton, Styles.
Very. I mean, these two have one of the longest rivalries of all time as well. I mean, they worked great together as both opponents and tag team partners. For Randy Orton, his younger career, he wasn't the most mature person, but he was one of the hardest. And, and by that I mean hardest working workers. But him not being able to show up, I mean, yeah, it is a downer. But you know what? This is the business that they're in. This is what they do. If they're not able to make it, like you said, there's texts and calls. Yeah, would we have loved to see him walk down the aisle with the rest of the roster? Oh, absolutely. But if it's, like you said, if it's Saudi Arabia taking his time away so they could promote, the Rumble or even the future WrestleMania or any future events, that's kind of a kick in the nuts for him. But in the end, even though it was his retirement moment, by that I mean John Cena, Randy Orton, I'm sure those two will always stay in touch outside of the business itself. But it would have been nice to see Randy over there, giving him one last hug in the ring as he's hanging up the shoes and the little wristbands and the armbands. But hey, like I said, this is the business that they chose to be in, and there's a lot of rough decisions they got to make, and sadly, this is one of them. But in the end, it's going to pay off for John. And these two, I can guarantee when Randy retires, either John will be there or he won't, but they'll be working together backstage somewhere. So this right here is just a spectacle of the moment. And you got 5, 10, 20 years down the road, and these two might be the ones running the company by then.
That's very possible. Baron, your thoughts on Orton's absence?
Yeah, I mean, obviously troubling. We get the whole fucking having to. I guess we have. I actually, let me retract that statement. I don't understand why he had to go to Saudi Arabia to promote the second biggest paper PLE of all time for WWE. He wasn't the only one there. Liv was there. A couple other stars was there too. I don't get it. I'm not a huge fan of that, but it is what it is. I mean, obviously, Randy Orton knows where John Cena lies in his mind, so that was a great tribute. This is where you send your WWE brand ambassadors out, right? And you got a lot of them. So this is when you send that moment out to them. I think two faces that really missed at Saturday night's main event was Edge and Randy Orton. And I think that would have been the top of it all.
And I wish I could speak more on that when it comes to Edge. If I recall, is Mark Henry still contracted AEW?
I don't think Mark Henry is. I think.
I wonder if contractual agreements have something to do with that, to where because if I recall, Edge is still under AEW contract, but he's also working on that series of Percy Jackson. So there might be somewhat of a mixture in there to where it's a rough business. And
here's the thing. I actually looked this up not too long ago. And we had discussed his contract, and there's even a post here that says that's from a year ago where he apparently said he had a year and a half left on his contract. So I guess that would mean sometime in the next year there. But my understanding, something that I was reading in an article a few days ago, his contract actually ran out in October. So 2 months ago. And when I Googled to find out whether there was injury time, I couldn't find anything saying that there was any injury time. There was one article that said there might be injury time added, but that was all I could find. So feasibly, it looks like Edge could have been there for last night or for Saturday night.
Possible backstage, no television.
Possible. I mean, with a 90-day no-compete clause, if he has one, that would make sense that why he couldn't have been there for that under the clause. But it's not a compete, so
yeah.
So
it's okay. How that works.
Yeah. All right. Let's go from the desk of Max Magus. In 2006, it was riot. In 2025, Cena lost and people wanted to riot. Gunther needed an escort to his car. Look, I'm not talking about the IWC. We know how they are. The people who follow us are level-headed enough to not be who I'm talking about. I get it. You didn't like that outcome. It's your right to not like the outcome. Harassing a man on his way to the car, not the way to go. You all spent most of Cena's career hating the man. He announces his retirement, and you lose your damn minds. That match ended exactly as it had to. Tradition must be observed. Cena did exactly that. 20 years ago, you all wanted him to lose. When he loses, as he's supposed to, now you want to flip out? I'm ashamed of the wrestling fans after Saturday night. Do better. And we're just going to move on from there. 4 members of the OVW class of 2002. We now have Batista and Cena, both retired. Apparently, Brock is out after SummerSlam of next year. So I guess I'm rooting for the Legend Killer going forward. You know what I mean?
It works. It works great.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't know how much longer he's going to be around. I mean, we're talking, he's been at this for 23 years as well. So I'm guessing he's looking towards the door as well.
Yeah, and he's went through some serious fucking injuries too.
Yeah, he has. All right, guys, before we move on, any final thoughts on Cena?
No, man. I mean, obviously, kudos to Cena. One of the best. I think we can all sit here and say he's a top 5. If not that, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. No, I'm kidding. I think, I think he's in our lifetime. I mean, I watched wrestling early 90s. You guys might be earlier. I don't know, but I started 94-ish, 93, went back, watched many old videotapes from early age. I gravitated towards Shawn Michaels. That was my guy. Bret Hart, that was my thing. So Shawn Michaels was a hard one to watch when he retired, right? But he went out with one of the biggest legacy matches of all time with The Undertaker. So it didn't hurt much. So there's only been, like I said early in the show, only been a certain amount of group guys and women on the roster that I have watched retire from after 2 decades. And it kind of like stung a little bit, because The Rock and Stone Cold, one top 2 guys in wrestling. They didn't last that long in wrestling, right? They made a mark, but they weren't there, and you weren't watching them every week for 20 years of your life. Shawn Michaels is the only other person, and I guess Undertaker too, that I could say that I have watched every single day or week of my life. So John Cena was another one in that group that kind of hit a little bit hard. So it sucked to kind of watch that, but it was good because we know he needs to, and you just gotta. Well, no, we don't. Fuck, Kevin. We do not count that match. Okay, please do not count that tag team match. We will not do that. Anything, and I hate to say it this way, but anything happening in Saudi Arabia, in my mind, legacy wise, is blanked out. There hasn't been anything. It's all blood money over there. I don't give a fuck what's happening with their shows. But yeah, man, one of the best legacies I've ever seen in wrestling. Kudos to John Cena, to everything he's done, from what he's done in wrestling and outside of wrestling. And there's really not that many people we could say is the GOAT. And I mean, he definitely hits that fucking mark as the real GOAT. Yeah, thank you, Cena.
Styles?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for everything you've given us in your 23-year experience in the WWE, putting your body on the line. Thank you for giving us the Marine. Thank you for giving us 12 rounds. Thank you for giving us all the entertaining performance that we could all just sit around and watch for the rest of our lives. And I hope you enjoy your retirement. I hope you heal up properly. You definitely need it. And in the words of Vincent John Laurinaitis, I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors, because we know exactly what you're going to be doing. So, Godspeed, John. We're here for you.
It's not often we get to see someone go out on their own terms. So it was great to see John Cena call his ball at the beginning of the year and be able to go out on the terms that he wanted. So Cena, thank you for 23 years of attitude adjustments, you can't see me's, STFUs, pumping up the kicks, and the so-called 5 moves of doom. The prototype, Big Match John, Super Cena, in the end, it all means the same thing. GOAT. Thank you. Now, on a small side note, before we move on, I wanted Henry versus Cena for Cena's final match. I didn't get the moment I wanted, but the Henry moment that we got was still phenomenal. I loved it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. If he couldn't be out there to interact with Cena, at least it was Truth and Miz that he was interacting with. So, all right. So let's switch gears. From Ringside News, Raquel Rodriguez has been placed in the concussion protocol following a very nasty spot during the December 15th episode of Monday Night Raw. During the women's world title match, Nikki Bella made a shocking return and wreaked havoc. She blindsided both Stephanie Vaquer and Raquel Rodriguez, completely ruining the main event. The most brutal moment came when Nikki launched Raquel headfirst into the steel steps, a violent spot that left Raquel visibly shaken with a huge knot on her head. While speaking on Wrestling Observer Live, Alvarez, revealed what went down behind the scenes after the cameras cut away. He noted that Raquel was placed in concussion protocol. Raquel got shoved into the steps. They didn't show this, but she hit her head hard. She got this giant goose egg on her head, so yeah, she's in concussion protocol. That does not mean she has a concussion. Anytime you get any sort of head injury and get a goose egg, they put you in concussion protocol just to make sure you're okay. While there is no confirmed diagnosis of an actual concussion, being placed in protocol means Raquel will be monitored closely and won't be cleared until she passes all necessary evaluations. It's a precaution WWE takes seriously, especially with a star as physical as Raquel. For now, Raquel's return to action is up in the air, but fans are hoping this is just a precaution, not a long-term setback, especially since she's clearly involved in a big feud with both Nikki Bella and Stephanie Vaquer. They typed it as Nikki Bella and Raquel Rodriguez, and it took me a second. Do you think Nikki Bella went way too hard on Raquel Rodriguez?
I mean, I didn't watch the match exactly. I saw highlights this morning because I was too upset to watch Raw last night. But from the spot that I saw, I mean, yes and no. We know how it is in the business. We know that Nikki is fairly green still. She was never really that great of a performer. She couldn't even do a stage dive out of a ring as she tried, just like her sister Brie. But in the sense of this, when it comes to Raquel, seeing that knot on her forehead was pretty brutal, and I don't blame the WWE for putting the concussion protocol into play. When it comes to that, I wish her the best in a speedy recovery, and hopefully she recovers quickly so she can get back into action.
I mean, I feel like we've seen too many people that have had to give up their careers because of too many concussions, right, Baron?
Yeah, I mean, as a football fan, I've seen it. Wrestling fan, concussions. That's some shit you don't play with, right? I'm confused though. Is it Vakir or was it Raquel? Which one is injured here?
Raquel.
Okay. Yeah, and it's not good because there's something brewing with Liv Morgan in that feud. So, there's something to build out there. I mean, that was definitely a brutal match for sure. That was a hard-hitting match. So speedy recovery to her, and hopefully it's nothing too serious. But definitely, hopefully it's, concussions are something you don't fuck with.
Yeah. I'm happy the WWE takes it so seriously now. There was a time when they wouldn't have. All right, so this has been a big deal going on for the discussion been going on for a couple weeks now. But we got to talk about this. We'll keep it short because I know Baron's feelings on the subject, and they usually mirror mine on this. From Ringside News, Tony Khan's AEW faces broadcast uncertainty if Netflix and Paramount divide the Warner Brothers Discovery assets. AEW may be staring down a broadcast nightmare as Warner Brothers Discovery inches closer to a potential split sale between Netflix and Paramount. During a recent appearance on the Duke Loves Wrestling podcast, Hollywood Reporter TV editor Tony Maglio, I'm sorry, I have to read that again. It was so much fun to say it. On the Duke Loves Wrestling podcast, Hollywood Reporter TV editor Tony Maglio explained how this deal could leave Tony Khan's promotion caught between two competing media giants with no clear home for its shows or streaming library. Maglio walked through the possible fallout if Netflix takes over Warner Brothers Discovery Studio and streaming division, including HBO Max, while Paramount or another party claims the cable networks, like TNT and TBS, where AEW currently airs its weekly shows. Yeah, man, there are so many things. I hope I'm not too long-winded on this. Like, if Warner Brothers only, the studios and streaming as planned, goes to Netflix, things are very confusing because that does not include TBS, TNT, but it does include HBO Max, right? While AEW shows might remain on TNT and TBS for now, Maglio pointed out that the streaming rights could be caught in the middle, especially if Netflix chooses to bundle or merge HBO Max into its core platform. So, in theory, you would expect that under the current AEW contract, it would continue to air on TNT, TBS, and to stream on HBO Max. Now, those might not soon, but within a year or whatever, possibly be under different companies. Maglio noted that AEW's existing deal with Warner Brothers Discovery is set to expire in about a year, further amplifying the instability. Interestingly enough, about a year or so is, I believe, what's left on the AEW deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, so much can change. Then comes the elephant in the room, WWE's Netflix deal. If Netflix merges with HBO Max, AEW might be completely blocked from streaming on the platform due to potential exclusivity arrangements WWE has in place, similar to what the company previously enforced on cable networks. And there is that X factor of would WWE's agreement with Netflix for Raw and for other properties, would that even allow for AEW to stream on Netflix? Maglio doubts WWE has the same stranglehold on Netflix as it did with USA Network, but he doesn't rule out trouble. My guess is they probably don't have, WWE probably doesn't have as much strength in this situation as they did with USA Network, where they did not allow rival wrestling companies to air alongside Raw or SmackDown. If HBO Max and Netflix separate, AEW could keep streaming uninterrupted, but that's a big if. But if Netflix and HBO Max stay separate, will AEW be allowed to stream on HBO Max still? I would think yes. The real chaos begins if Netflix decides to do what Disney did with Hulu, tightly bundle both platforms under one umbrella. That could trigger non-compete issues and spell trouble for AEW. At the end of the day, Maglio admits that even he can't predict all the outcomes. But then what happens if Netflix and HBO Max do integrate, sort of in the way that Disney Plus and Hulu have? Then what does that mean for contracts in terms of non-competes for rivals and so on and so forth? So it is honestly so wide open and confusing right now. There are so many moving parts, I couldn't even possibly list them all. As the WBD bidding war heats up and the clock ticks down on AEW's current media deal, Tony Khan may soon be forced to make the same type of backup moves that Paul Heyman couldn't make in time to save ECW. The question is whether AEW's executive team is prepared or if history is about to repeat itself. I'm going to be honest. I mean, as hard as it seems like it was for them to get this deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, it seemed like nobody else was interested in making a deal with them. I'd say they might be screwed with if this deal splits between Netflix and Paramount Plus. Baron?
I think all these fuckers are going to merge together at some point in juncture. I think that's their only option. So I really don't understand. I mean, there's just too many theories out there of what could or what will happen. I mean, Netflix is not against AEW being on the same platform than WWE. That's not going to discourage Netflix from bringing them in. Netflix is building up their, like their sport entertainment catalog per se, right? So I don't see that being money's money at the end of the day with these corporations, right? They don't give a fuck who's competitive against who's going to draw in money for their reputable fucking streaming device. It does not matter at the end of the day of conflict of interest. We talk about this deal with AEW. We've talked about it for well over 2 years now at this point in juncture. It's come, it's gone, it's changed. No matter where they go, it does not matter what they do if they don't fix what they're doing booking wise. I don't care where it's going. I still will not go and watch it, whether it's on Netflix. And I think the rest of the fans would do the same. So I mean, there's this complicated situation with all those networks, and I truly don't even understand it. But in the end result, it does not matter who's on what. And if both promotions are on the same network, it's not going to hurt the network at all. As long as they're generating money for them.
And before I get Styles' opinion on this, did you basically just tell me that it's going to become Disney Flix Max at some point?
Is it not already?
Well, no, Disney's still separate right now.
Are they though? Because they're owned by the same fucking thing, and you have to sign up for. If you sign up for Hulu Live and all that shit, it's literally Disney package. I have it. Well, I couldn't tell you the last time I watched anything on Disney.
Yeah, I used to have the Disney Hulu ESPN package, and nobody was using that version of ESPN Plus. So when HBO Max was introduced as being able to be bundled with Disney Plus and Hulu, I dropped the ESPN and picked up the HBO Max. I'm wondering what this will do to my bundle if HBO Max goes over to Netflix. Well, am I going to have to go back to ESPN Plus?
Yeah, and I mean, and this is something too that is not concrete, right? I mean, there is a good chance that the federal government could go and block this because that's a big monopolized ordeal, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see something along those lines happening because, that's big shit, right? Unless they get a write-off for something that might happen, but I don't think this deal is going to be concrete, and I don't think it's going to go through because if the government is not getting their fair share, they're going to cut you back, right?
It's usually how it will work, especially in terms of a monopoly. But in the end, if things go south for, say, AEW during all this contractual agreement stuff, you can have what's known as a breach of contract. And AEW could possibly sue the platform that's trying to merge and collab and buy out and all that. And it would be a big mess. It would be nothing but legal cases. So it would be better for, the government to actually prophesize off of this and say, hey, this is what needs to happen. You guys need to not do all this. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind seeing AEW and WWE under the same banner because, like you said in the end, Baron, it's all about the money. So imagine seeing AEW on Netflix, but you also see WWE on Netflix. I mean, it's bad enough WWE is on not just Netflix, but they're on ESPN, which isn't really working out apparently. And then on top of that, they're on Peacock with certain PLEs or special events. And it's just like WWE is already top-notch monopolized, and AEW, they're on HBO Max. So it's just, who's really winning at this point? In the end, the fans would be like, well, we would like to see them all in one thing, and we would. I agree. In the end, put them all in one big bundle, and guess what? You only got one service that you would practically have to pay for, but at what cost would it come? But right now, it's like you're spending how much money a month just to watch your favorite program on 3 different platforms. So it's just like it's a giant shit sandwich, and everyone's taking a bite anyway.
Well, and as far as whether AEW would be allowed to stream on Netflix or not, it would depend on what the contract says that TKO WWE worked out between themselves and Netflix, and the one that they worked out with Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus. Yeah, anyway, it would depend on the contract. There could be a clause in there. Oh, Paramount Plus because they have UFC. So that would involve TKO and UFC. So it would depend on what kind of clauses they were able to get put into that contract. And it's possible that they said any wrestling that you're thinking about bringing in, you got to, get approval from us. So that could possibly hurt the AEW deal and not have it show up on Netflix. But we're going to have to wait. Time will tell us. Finally, I want to bring up one more thing tonight. For the since Survivor Series, we've been asking the same question over and over. Who was that masked man? And Paul Heyman has consistently refused to answer the question, claiming he didn't know who it was. Well, if you were watching Raw last night, we found out who it was. And that man was Justin Timberlake. Wait, no. That man was the returning Austin Theory. And I got to tell you, that was pretty obvious. I'm not opposed. I like it, but we kind of figured that ahead of time, Baron.
Yeah, I think I'm on record a couple times saying that, right? Not opposed to it. Does it... I mean, shitty take here, but does that reveal benefit the vision, and does that reveal get the universe talking? I don't think it did. I think the biggest takeaway from that, that night on Monday Night Raw was a few other things that happened. So, from Gunther's promo to some title matches we had. I got to start believing in Austin Theory. And I think this might be the best way with him being grouped up with Paul Heyman, because Paul Heyman does not miss. He is 100%, 10 out of 10 when it comes to building stars.
Ryback.
Okay.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about Ryback.
9 out of 10.
But how long was he with Ryback? Wasn't
about
very
a
long,
year.
right?
Almost a year. Not even. It was during the CM Punk.
Yeah, but nobody's going to like Ryback. I mean, shit character, shit human being. Fuck that guy. So let's scratch him off. Let's forget about
he
him.
has been maturing for the last half a year. So,
Are we talking about Paul Heyman or Ryback?
Oh, definitely not Paul Heyman. He's already matured.
Well, I have to. I hate to disagree on that part, but no on
I'll
Ryback.
never. The Orca himself. I mean, Oracle. I mean, he was just, he's
The man, Max literally sent the video that I don't need to have any more explanation than that, man. When Max sent that video of him doing a fucking video of eating Burger King and didn't even give a rating based off the fucking sandwiches. That might have been dizzy. But nonetheless, he literally did a video about Burger King burgers and didn't even give a fucking rating nor feedback on the burger. So that right there describes all I need to know about Ryback.
feed him more, man. Feed him more.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
He posts a lot of videos of him eating food and not commenting on it.
I hate that, and that irritates me to the max.
I did that with 4 Big Macs once.
You gotta give a review. You have to. You gotta tell.
Well, it wasn't
give me a rating.
Review. I couldn't even do that. It was a speed run, and I ate 4 Big Macs in like 7 minutes.
Well, that's a different story if you're doing speed run or something.
And I felt sick after it. So
well, yeah, I hope so. After eating that many, fuck. But nonetheless, like, I think Austin Theory's got a good opportunity here. Yeah. He's got Braun. He's got like, that's a good core group. I gotta just believe in him, and I haven't in a very long time. So maybe this is new look, shaved his head, doesn't look like the pretty boy baby face anymore, and I think that's what they're wanting, and that's good because it's getting that gritty, Austin Theory. So yeah, I want to get behind it. I wish it was someone else, but nonetheless, I've seen a lot worse.
Styles.
I mean, Austin Timberlake. I mean, he's back on the roster, and Austin Theory. Yes, seeing him pull off the obvious, which we've known for the last few weeks. I mean, it was already out there, and we're all excited that he's back. But at the same time, what's his role within the division? What's his role in WWE in general? I mean, shaved head. He's got the scruff now, and is he going to talk, or is Heyman going to talk for him? Is he going to be like an agile character? Is he going to be a psycho? We don't know exactly what he's going to be doing right now until they put him on the mic, and hopefully he doesn't fuck that up, because let me tell you, the whole purpose of breaking him and Grayson Waller up, we were hoping for Theory to turn face, come back as a face, but now that we know that he's not, it's going to be funny, or it's going to be interesting to see him and Grayson backstage, and Grayson gets the shit kicked out of him by freaking Theory in the Vision. Right now with what's going on, the Vision's putting everybody on notice, and if you have a history with any of these men, your career is already in jeopardy. So New Day is going to be out there. It's going to be wild. But the way I see this whole thing, it's going to be It's going to be Theory and Punk running a short-term feud going into Punk versus Braun Breaker, and I'm curious to see what they're going to do. I'll say it right now, the WWE should be lucky I'm still watching their product after last night's debacle with the ticket, but I'm trying is the biggest term here, to try to stay focused on keeping up with the product, because things like that disappoint me and it makes me lose interest even faster. So they need to put a lock on this whole thing before I put a muzzle on it. So
I, for one, am happy to see Theory back. We've talked for months that he was probably going to join the Vision, so honestly, this isn't that big of a surprise, but the surprising part was how much he looks like Timberlake now. Unless anybody has anything else they want to discuss, I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Styles, how can they find you?
For right now, you can find me on Kick at Deactivated Styles. I don't use X. I don't use much social media like I used to. I mean, I have Instagram, but if you like seeing lane photos, that's the site for everyone then. But other than that, yeah, just kick. I'll start putting my kick tag on here starting next week, so that way everyone can find me more.
All right. Baron?
Find me at the Twitter, Scumbag Jordan with 3 N's.
All right, you can find me at Max Mazes. You can find my other podcast at Our Shots Podcast. You can listen to it anywhere you get your podcasts or go to random-shots.net. Feel free to follow the show at the Ramblers Pod on Twitter, or just look up Ramblers Unleashed on Facebook and check us out there. We will be back maybe next week. We'll have to let you know. It's a holiday week. We may or may not be here. I'm going to try. I'll say that. I'm going to try.
Worst case scenario, there's always the following Tuesday, and that's going into New Year. So we got a whole lot that we're going to be talking about regardless.
Yeah. Either way, we'll be back soon. Your year-end review. Either way, we'll be back soon. So thank you for tuning in, and please join us again next time.
Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramblers Unleashed. Follow the show on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the bell icon for notifications of upcoming episodes.